We all hear this narrative that how to run business from the state of ease and flow, how to bring more flow into your business, how to bring more joy into your business. And today, I would like to really break it down, like what it actually means, because, like, I think when we talk about like business, like number one is important to understand in any business. That business, like, listen, I this is my probably second business that I am building like very intentionally. My first business kind of accidentally happened. My private practice accidentally just happened. And I always had like the luxury of having 9 to 5 that would support me. And I would have just like, and I would see my private clients as I think that's how many like helping professionals like would do, many therapists would do. But this business that I'm running right now, when I'm working with entrepreneurs, so this is most strategic um business that I ever ran, and also like the business that become the source of like the means how I support myself. So, and this is what I'm going to tell you, that yes, ease and flow is something that we strive, but also ease and flow when it comes to entrepreneurship itself, like running a business, running a team, managing a team, having navigating the market, this is not a very flowy activity, okay? This is not very flowy activity. Like, we all have challenges, we all navigating uncertainty, we all navigating market volatility. So, and this is like this is why it is so essential to also understand how to bring the flow into this, because yes, entrepreneurship is a bumpy ride, right? When we are managing teams, when we have a lot of responsibility, when we are 8 players on the team, we constantly have to carry really heavy load. But that very heavy load can be in the flow, can be carried with ease and flow and grace. And um, contrary of this personal development, self-help narrative that like, oh, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, like, listen, like, it you don't have to make it harder on yourself. Let me put it this way, because business is hard, like managing team is hard. Having a lot of responsibility is challenging, but you can actually create ease and flow in your business with uncertainty, with navigating market volatility. And there are 8 key principles that will help you to navigate um, those challenges. And like I said, like managing a team, running a business is not very flowy activity, but you can, through 8 principles, through 8 qualities that I'm going to share with you in a moment, you can create ease and flow even when you're operating in uncertainty, even when you're operating under pressure, even when you're operating under under the circumstances when the market is changing. And that's perfectly normal and that's perfectly fine. And also, I would like to take a moment, like, and I normally don't. I try to do my best not to digress or not to sidetrack like a lot, but I would like to take a moment and also honor that today is a Martin Luther King's Day, and for me, like that leader, like apps, like what all 8 qualities that I'm going to talk about, like he was embodiment for that. So I want to honor that and also mention that it would like it's just the right thing to do because um I have a huge honor to serve a lot of Black and Latino entrepreneurs. And also, my journey in the United States would not be as bright, as successful if it was not for Black community. So, like, I want to make it a pause and really honor Dr. Martin Luther King's Day today. So, and qualities. So how to bring like how to be in the flow when you are running when you're running a business. And business is not a flowy bit. It's not a flowy thing. It's a hard thing. Managing teams, hiring teams, identifying the strategies. And last week, by the way, we were talking about that your mind is a system. You have your nervous system, you have your mind system, and in your mind you have multiple, like if you will, personalities, multiple parts that are sometimes running your life in business. And you also have your true self, the CEO of your mind, the CEO of your of you, and it is your true self. And like this philosophy comes from internal family systems. And what I like about internal family systems, that it really puts mine into non-pathologizing philosophy. It's not like that we constantly have to heal from trauma. We constantly have to heal from stress. We constantly have to heal from anxiety. But rather, like our mind is organization. Our mind is a system, right? Our mind is a company, if you will, with employees, and we have employer, which is our true self. And our true self has 8 qualities that actually help us to, when we remove the parts, or rather when we address the parts that are in the way of our true self, then we are able to access those 8 qualities. And also, those 8 qualities at the core are the are the keys for business that you can create in ease and abundance, grace and flow. Even when it's not flowing as well as you want, even when the market is changing, even when there's a lot of external uncertainty. So shall we get started? So the first quality that I want to bring is calm, calmness, because we often, as business owners, we have tendency to problem solve. And I am a problem solver. I'm a really good at solving problems. But also, what I know sometimes when we're solving a problem, we're we have tendency to act from the place of panic. We have tendency to hire from the place of this like irritation or discomfort. But calmness is the inherent quality of your true internal CEO, of your true self. Calmness is not something that you gain. Calmness is not something that you go and get better at through coaching program. Calmness is not something that you can buy. Calmness is something that already is within you. And as for all 8 qualities that I'm going to mention today, all you need, like all what is required is to remove the obstacles. So if you want to bring ease, flow, and abundance and grace into your business, it's not about chasing another um, strategy. It's not about chasing another funnel. It's not about chasing something on the external. Although I'm not saying that strategy is not working, that you don't need a strategy. I am saying that when you approach your funnel, your messaging, your marketing, your decisions from the place of calm, it will create difference in your business. You will make higher quality decisions, and more importantly, when you are in a state of calmness, you will be able to operate in a season of uncertainty, because business is uncertain, and you will be able to pivot and change when the time is right, because calm pivot when you're calm, that like just by embracing calmness alone, like you just gonna make better business decisions and better life decisions. And this is something that we see time and time again with CEOs, with founders, with entrepreneurs, right? When we are calm, when we are collected, when we are grounded, we just make better decisions. And our energy also, like, people buy messaging coaching, people buy business coaching, people buy sales coaching. But let's just pause here for a little bit. Though, because like I was teaching entrepreneurs and I'm teaching entrepreneurs on consultative sales, on messaging as well. But what is missing, so like the core component is this like calm presence, because your energy will translate in a Zoom room, will translate at the conferences. Because my best clients who sold from stage, my best clients who sold from podcasts, my best clients who closed high, like effective deals with consultative sales, one quality that they all exhibited at a time is calmness, because that calmness is contagious. Because not just you have this internal self, internal CEO, internal self, when you are operating from yourself, other people, others people's core, which is true self, is able to resonate with them. And calmness helps you to come up with a better marketing, with the better messaging, with the better partnership, with the better decisions. And not to mention, it has a tremendous positive effect on your body. Because listen, I keep hearing about the bodily dysfunction, the psychosomatic illnesses, or when people are operating business, there's autoimmune diseases like flaring up. There are anxiety. There are like physical symptoms, like physical illnesses that coming up in our bodies. And again, that like what I know from my clinical training as a psychologist, as a therapist, what I know is when our mind is not calm, when we are not operating from our true self, that it affects our body. That creates that can affect inflammation in our body. And there are numerous studies on that. So the second quality is clarity. And we have this notion in entrepreneurial circles that clarity, it is something like on the external, that you need to work with a therapist, that you need to work with a coach. And partially it is correct, because clarity, it is not something that you gain from somebody else. Nobody can bring you clarity. Nobody can bring you certainty. I can bring you clarity. But what I can help you with is actually remove stuff, address parts of you, address the internal parts of you who are protectors, who are wounded parts, or exiles, who are in the way, because you already have clarity. You already have clarity. You already know what to do. When it's clouding your decision, it is the internal parts, it is the internal conflicts within you. And clarity comes like when you're addressing wounded parts, when you're addressing controlling parts, when you're addressing reactive parts of yourself. Like again, like in in our industry, people often obsessed with just the next thing, like what should I do? Should I do low ticket membership and then upsell them um, behind the scenes, or should I sell high ticket? Should I do consultancy? Should I do this? Should I do that? And like it is not the lack of clarity, it's rather clouded judgment with fear, clouded judgment with reactive parts, clouded judgment with protectors, because deep down you already know what to do. Whether it is membership, low ticket membership, whether it is just go straight direct to the market with mid and high ticket, whether it is working like on B2B level, working directly with companies, like directly with organizations and offering them packages, either as a speaking packages, as educational packages, as a consulting packages. So you already have that clarity. And that, like, so calm clarity. Like, and like, just imagine for a second if you had calm and clarity in you as a business owner, what quality decisions would you make? What strategy would you personally come up with? If you had calm and clarity, how would you address the strategies and the knowledge that you accumulated throughout the years as an entrepreneur, that you learn from your mentors, from your coaches, that you see in the industry, that you listen on the podcast? If you just had those qualities, on just two qualities, those two qualities can bring you to to truly to the next level. Calm, clarity. Let's address the third part, and the third component, the third quality that brings you flow, gets you in a state of flow, even under even when the situation is uncertain. It is creativity, and this is important part. If you want to just make money with your business, you like it is fairly it's fairly easy. Like you can create non-creative business, right? You can have a parking lot, you can have like a gas, you can buy a gas station, you can buy a brick and mortar. You can create, like you can offer a service. Like AI has a lot of opportunities to create actually done for you services for business. And for other businesses, they're like we have so much potential right now. But creativity, it's something that drives your business. Creativity is something that brings growth. I'm not talking about content creation, even though creativity will bring your content creation to the next level 100%. I'm talking about creativity in your business. When you evolve from one, from one version to another version to another version to another version, this is your true creativity. This is your true essence. And this is what drives innovation in businesses, true creativity. But creativity cannot be produced when your judgment is overclouded with either your reactive parts, either your fearful parts, either with your wounded parts. As a CEO, to operate from your true self, this is essential. This is essential to remove stuff. It's not about adding more from the external. It's not adapting the mindfulness practice that will work for you. And it's not about buying a course or like hiring another business coach that will teach you how to articulate your values better. It is actually removing those parts who are in the way, because when you unleash your true creativity, when you unleash your true creativity, then your true essence, your true messaging, that your true resonance starts to shine. Again, everything is energy. You showing up energetically differently in the rooms. Even when even when the room is empty and somebody else coming to your replay, coming to your podcast, coming to your YouTube video, and they see that energy and they see that resonance and they see that creativity, they're like, this is it. This is it. And you know, this is like this is an important part why I rebuilt my entire container. Because like I kid you not, I would start with with entrepreneurs at this like consulting level. And after working with entrepreneurs, after working with tech professionals as a career coach, I realized something that like people like this, like the how to things, like what to do, whether it is running live streams, whether it is doing podcasts, whether it is like writing articles and newsletters and growing your email list. This is all secondary. What is often in the way, and people will not see it, people would not see any progress until they remove those parts that are standing in the way, until they remove the fearful parts, until they remove the reactive parts. And by the way, this is the reinvention. This is my creative reinvention and my container. And if it is something that you are interested in, I have a link in the description for this live stream. It is in my bio as well, or you can send me a message with the word clarity or with the word certainty. This is a certainty container. This is the name of my container. And because without those parts, nothing is happening further. And as someone who is educated, as someone who has experience as a therapist, as someone who studied human psychology at the professional level, and also someone who went through tons of hours of therapy, this is first. And I had to learn hard lessons in my business until I access my true self, until I access calm, clarity, creativity. Like nothing will move the needle. Absolutely nothing will move the needle. So after that, courage. Courage is another part of your true self. I think the phrase like we have to make a bold decision in our businesses is so overused, but courage is this forceful energy of your true self when you like, first of all, as a CEO, as a founder, like this is the courage to let somebody go. When you realize that they're not, like you are not serving them at the highest level, when you realize that they're not serving you at the highest level, when you realize that they're absolutely that you're doing them rather disservice having them on your team, like that requires courage. Firing your client who is not a good fit and addressing that, whether refunding them and say, you know what, peace be with you, like not a good fit. I did not see that coming. All the best. My reputation is all I have. I release you. And this is something that I should have done also, like in my business. Like I realized I had a few clients who I should have let go, but because again my courage was clouded with a sense of fear, with a sense of scarcity, with a sense of like, but what if what happened? Like that creates movement in your business. Courage, making calculated risks, and that comes from your true self. And does it come from another funnel? And does it come, it's not coming from another strategy with another hot take, with another trend that is going on the market. Because, like, listen, you can learn all of hot takes. And this is something that I learned in the hardest way in my business with my clients. Like, we can learn all hot takes, but until we have this, nothing will absolutely work. You're like you can hire all of the best messaging coach in the planet to show up better. You can hire a funnel strategist. You can hire the Facebook ad strategist, which I think you should. But until you have access to self, until you have access to those qualities, nothing, absolutely nothing matters. Absolutely nothing matters but like calm, clarity, creativity, courage. So we're almost done. We're almost halfway there. Four. Imagine that you just have four there in your arsenal, in your in the world. How your business would have been different now by a lot. You can probably teach somebody else like how to run like successful business and leadership. You will be a different, like you would have been a different leader if you showed up just like that. And this is exactly why I redesigned my container, because like I in 2025 I had realization, no, people don't need to start with how to sell from stage, because until they are not in their true calm, in their true creativity, in their true clarity, like nothing will work. We gotta release the CEO. We gotta release the self first. And when we release the self first, then everything is starting to flow. Everything is starting to move forward. This is the highest, most successful energy that you can bring in 2026. This is the only strategy that you need. Unblock your true self and start acting from the place of calm, clarity, creativity, and courage. Yes, I do have my little note like because there are eight qualities and I keep messing them up sometimes. Confidence. Listen, confidence is another quality that actually the quality of your true self. And I don't know about you, I personally, when I hear like, but you have to be confident, like I kind of roll my eyes a little bit like, listen, when I started my business, I was jogging shirtless in Chicago by the Lake Michigan. Like, I have no fear of being seen. I look good. I feel good. I go live every week, more or less. I show up. I'm confident AF. But I gotta, like, over the years, I gotta admit that even with my confidence, even with my desire to be seen and being, like, I would say, fairly confident person, I can tell you that little fears and little doubts that come when I turn the camera off, when nobody is watching, when I am sitting in the morning in the dark and meditating. This is the true moment of truth when I have to access my true self and show up with confidence. Because even as a confident person who moved countries, person who risked it all confidently, I can tell you that there are many parts, that there are many internal personalities that come up to the surface time to time, and they block the vision and they block the confidence. Somebody asked me, by the way, I think it was last year. They asked Eugene, how do you just show up and like do live streams just like that on LinkedIn, on YouTube? Like you go live all the time. Like I wish I had that confidence that you do. And I said, every time I go live, my back is literally sweaty and wet. And it's literally sweaty and wet right now as I am talking. It never goes away. But you know what helps? Actually addressing the parts that are in a way, that are not confident, that are reactive, that I think what nobody's, what if nobody is watching, what if nobody is coming, what if nobody is resonating with you, keep them at bay, address them in a loving, supportive way, heal them, and actually ask them what they want to do instead. Instead of sabotaging you, parts sabotage. This is something that I said on Friday. Yeah, like that. We never self sabotage. Our parts sabotage our success. So that is a part of confidence. People who are not confident, when people who struggle with confidence, people don't struggle with confidence. People struggle with removing the stuff that is in the way of confidence. That's what people most struggle with. Now, another quality, and that is like, I'm almost done, I promise, connectedness. Connectedness is, I would also almost would point out that connectedness is one of the core principles, is one of the core strategies in business. Is when you are able to, and this is quality of self, this is what you already have, connectedness. And is when you are able to connect with people. And if you're serving like someone, if you're serving somebody, I don't care what you do in your business. If you're serving somebody as a coach, as a therapist, as a provider, as a mentor, you're leading team, you have this opportunity and you have this ability to connect with other people, and you can do it really well. This is your source of your marketing, this is the source of your messaging, this is the source of like how to speak in a way that resonates with people. When you have connectedness, when you connect with people on the deeper level or on the deeper self level, then it shows up differently in your business, then it shows up differently in your orbit, then you can absolutely see tremendous, absolutely tremendous, spectacular results in your business. Connectedness, and connectedness is something that is inside of you. Again, like calm, clarity, curiosity, courage, confidence, connectedness. This is something that inside of you. And based on connectedness, there's the whole strategy that I love to recommend and I love to explain and help people to implement. And it's relationship marketing, and it's identity marketing. Those two marketing techniques, those two marketing philosophies, they are rooted in connectedness, because you cannot do identity based marketing if you don't have connectivity, if you don't connect with people. And you cannot do relationship based marketing, build relationship with your audience and with your potential members, if you can connect with other people. This is the most essential part. Now we're almost done. I have two more. Compassion. Early in my business, I learned this methodology actually from another entrepreneur. Like I learned this phrase. This is not my phrase. This and it's called empathy model. Empathy model. And I learned, and I thought like, huh, like empathy model. That sounds really, really good. Like what it means. Compassion is when you are able to address people compassionately, as when you address to like, as when you actually see people, as when actually you see your employees. This is actually when you see your market. Is actually when you see why people don't buy from you, and also you can see why people buy from you. And if you want to have better buyers, if you want to have better business, when you put so much compassion in your marketing and in your messaging, that's when moves like starting to happen. Compassion, empathy model, that is such a difference maker in your business. Like it seems really simple, but it's way deeper than that, because when you have the ability, when you have access to compassion, like it's just like be like all of a sudden your messaging resonates in a way that people feel seen, people feel heard, people feel understood, people just feel people feel that they belong. And the last uh, and the last quality that I want to emphasize is curiosity. And if it was like, I think I should have started with curiosity, because we have in entrepreneurship, we all have fear. What if it's not going to happen? What if the worst thing that can happen? What if, right? Like the market shifts. What if this? What if that? And that is fear. And the fear, like contrary to popular beliefs, fear is not your enemy. Fear is a part of you that is protecting you from something. It can be a protector, it can be a reactive part of yourself, what we call in internal family system firefighters. But on the other side of fear is curiosity. Okay, I wonder how we can turn this not favorable market situation in our favor. How we can turn our marketing upside down in a way that will resonate with people. I'm curious what I can create in this market and how I can restructure my business that it will operate totally differently. I am curious who I need to hire right now to expand my business. And I'm curious, maybe like just traditional form of self-help, when like of support that like we used to, like your traditional business consultant, your traditional like a business coach. Maybe there's something deeper than that. Maybe if you start addressing your business from your mind first, not mindset, but mind first as a system. When you unblock your like your true self, then we can land on a better strategy. And this is why I redesigned my program, as I said before, because it starts with your mind. I love strategy and I do strategy, and like all of my previous clients, they were successfully implemented, successfully deployed, wonderful strategy, how to sell from stage, how to sell without relying on social media, more importantly. That's one of my that's something that one of my clients did. How to sell it through a podcast, how to redesign low ticket digital course to like a mentorship container, like mid ticket mentorship container. How to land better consulting opportunities, like all of that were it was related to strategies, but also God has been calling me to actually utilize the skills that I learned so hard, like in when I was in training as a therapist, that as a um, certified and registered hypnotherapist. And in my container, I only work with four people, and it's one-on-one container, four people per quarter, in a 6 months in a 6 months container. And what we do first, we first unblocking your true self. So you have access to those eight qualities in your business. And we do it through um, philosophy of internal family system. We use internal family system as a foundational philosophy for my work. I use hypnotherapy, and when we use hypnotherapy, it is not stage-based hypnosis. It's like it is conversation-based hypnosis. Is when we go deeper and we can access the part that are in the way, that are protective, that are reactive, that are wounded, to actually unblock your true self and also create internal counsel. Create your internal counsel, because your parts and your ego states. And in hypnosis, there's another philosophy, there's another approach, ego states therapy, that is really powerful and very similar to IFS, internal family system, but like acts more like when you can create your internal panel control, when you can literally connect with certain ego states, certain modalities that you learn, because ego states, they're neurological neural connections that you form through learnings, through working with coaches, through working with therapists, through your experience, right? And you can access those ego states and create your console, internal console, that will help you to operate your business with your true self in the driver's seat. This is something that I do with myself. This is something that I recently did for a consultant. So I don't know if I have a time for story time, but like quick story time, like uh, like a tech consultant came to me and say, "Hey, I need to pick up like more traditional W-2 consulting right now." And it's been a while since I interviewed for like a traditional consulting. And what we did, like we did quick hypnotherapy session, and we actually accessed his console, like the engineer, like the internal engineer, ego state as an engineer, ego state as an interviewer, and ego state as a problem solver. And that internal console like actually helped him to land really lucrative consulting opportunity, right? It's a little bit untraditional, but like it works really well. And this is something that I do with my clients as well, because like we all learn marketing, we all learn strategies, we all created those neurological neural connections in our brain, and we all have experiences. But when we are overcrowded, when we are overburdened with fears, with reactivity, with the sense of control, with the craving for control, then we lose it. When that we just lose it. And through that access, through that work, through internal and family system, and through ego states, it just like truly, it's just truly amazing what people can come up with. And then from that state, create a strategy that is based on your true self, not fears, not what ifs, not the worst case scenario, but like your true self guidance, like your true self leadership. And also, when something is not working, when you receive the data from the market, like, okay, this is not the direction, you can calmly pivot and change and take the direction that actually matters for your business most. So, that's how I redesigned my container. So let me know if you have any questions. We were having a really profound conversation. We were talking about what creates flow, ease, and grace in entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is not flowy thing. Entrepreneurship is hard. Building a business is hard. Managing people is hard. But we talked about 8 qualities that actually creates grace, flow, and ease in your business and in your life. And these are qualities are calm, clarity, creativity, courage, confidence, connectedness, compassion, and curiosity. So also I would like to hear from you if you are listening to this recording either on my podcast or on the YouTube. Send me a DM. Let me know what resonates with you. Let me know what one quality resonated with you the most and what quality you could resonate, like you could utilize right here, right now. All right. I do have a few minutes for Q&A, for questions and answers. So please let me know what resonated with you. Let me know what questions do you have and what I can possibly clarify for you, because we were talking a lot about a lot of stuff today. So I kind of went a little bit over my normal time for live stream. So I appreciate everybody who's joined me today. I appreciate everybody who joined me on Instagram. I appreciate everybody who joined me on LinkedIn. So thank you so much. All right. Well, I um this is it. Thank you so much, and I will see you on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we're gonna talk about hiring again, and rather like instead of like on when it was on last week on Wednesday, we were talking about why people get disappointed when they hire for a support. But next Wednesday, I want to talk about like how this pattern that we might have noticed, that we hire different people, but essentially we hire people with the same qualities when it can tell about us, when it's when it's serving us and when it's not serving us. So like that's what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much, everybody who showed up, and I will see you